back on the hunt for more retro games. Sega Game Gear loose carts, of course. Heading to a new CEX, one I haven't been to before, which is ironic. It's actually close to me. It's on Canvey Island in Essex, but I believe it's a relatively new store, as in it's not been there for donkey's years. I think it's only 2 or 3 years old. Might be less than that. There's a couple of charity shops around as well, so we'll pop in, see what we can find. But I know a couple of tubers and big collectors that live over this way, so I imagine there's probably slim pickings. I don't even know how big the CEX is. I don't know if they've got any healthy stock of retro. I don't know if they've got any Game Gear. So let's just see and find out what they've got. So the CEX is located one end of Knightswick, I think it was called, a little shopping centre, and it was right opposite a nerd base as well, which is pretty cool to see. I filmed the window. There wasn't too much to write home about. There's a couple of retro bits at the bottom. Outrun 2006, Mario Golf on the Game Boy. But they did have some nice retro inside. Nice little selection there of Sega Mega Drive games. Some good titles in there. Obviously, always the usual of Amiibos gathered up. A little bit of variety, but yeah, not massive stock. I mean, Zelda, Windbreaker, Metal Gear on a Game Boy Color, House of the Dead on the Dreamcast. But yeah, I think Mega Drive tended to be the main thing that was behind the glass, other than this PlayStation 1 that you can see. So yeah, a few titles. Again, nothing to write home about. This was cool to see. Snow White on the PS2. It's £150 that game. I've not played it. I've certainly seen a little bit of it. I'm assuming it's a bit of a sort of horror title. Mercs, what a game. Even though some of those games are affordable, they're still great games on a Sega Mega Drive. I want to really go back to my Sega Mega Drive at some point, but the purpose of today is to go through the Game Gear and see if they've got any stock. So I pandered around a little bit. There is some PSP, original Xbox, but I didn't want to be wasting my time with that. I had to lean on this little counter, and I asked her, have you got any Game Gear carts? And she said yes, and she brought them out. It's a fairly small CEX. I asked the 2 staff working in there how long it'd been open. They said since December. It's in a little shopping centre called Knightswick. So I think the whole shopping centre might be fairly new, since just the end of last year. And it's opposite a little nerd base as well. So if you're into action figures and stuff like that, then head to both of them. So it's quite a small CEX. I just filmed what was behind the glass cabinets, but there's plenty of goodness in there. There was Xbox, PSP and other retro bits inside, but yeah, not the largest one. But I did ask, have you got any loose carts out back? I'm looking for Sega Game Gear. She said, give me a minute, I'll have a look. And yeah, we was in luck. So she had, as the wind blows a bag in my face, she had 6 loose carts of Sega Game Gear, and I took 5 of them. So we'll head back to the games room and see what I got. Right, here we are. Let's talk pickups then. Let's go through each game. I'll show you some footage of each game I've picked up. So let's start with G-Lock Air Battle. I'm pretty sure it's a Master System game, like most of these Game Gear carts are. But it's a really fun game, so I'll show you some footage here. It's not just planes you're shooting down, you're also shooting down ships as well. You've got like normal sort of bullets, like machine gun fire, then you have rockets as well. They're quite short, thick and fast levels. There's 3 difficulties. And you just basically have to shoot down the amount of numbered planes or enemy ships that it says. That's all it is. So it's quite fun just to pick up and play. And at the end of each level, the amount of points you make from your performance, you can spend to put more fuel in it, in your aircraft, or to upgrade if you've used a lot of rockets in case you're struggling in the next mission. So it's actually quite a fun game. It's not like you just shoot down next mission. Even though obviously I'm sure it's repetitive, I quite like the fact that at the end of each level, you can upgrade, and that might determine whether you can make it past the next level or not. So I was expecting that to be, I played it first, expecting that to be the worst game out of the bunch, and I actually really enjoyed it. So that's G-Lock. The next one I tried, Global Gladiators. It's not an expensive game. I see this on, you know, Mega Drive, for example. But I've never played it, and I've never seen it in great condition copy where I've gone, I'm going to grab that. And you see it about, it's pretty common enough. So to find this loose cart on the Game Gear, I was really happy because I've never tried it. Wasn't sure what it was like. It's basically like a run and gun platformer. The music in it's really good. The music changes a couple of times. It's like you've got a super soaker, but your bullets are almost like a spud gun, which would kind of make sense. It was a spud gun, and it was the era of super soakers and stuff. So, like in the 90s, so it could be a bit of a hybrid between those two. But it's a really fun game. It's everything bloody kills you though. It's really, really difficult, and I struggled. I didn't get too far, but I really enjoyed it. I did all my credits to the game over, and I'll definitely go back and play that. So yeah, Global Gladiators, really happy to pick that up. So it's 2 good games straight off the bat. Cool Spot, I've talked about this previously. I can't really get into them. I like the premise of it. little mascot. But yeah, I always sell the games I've had before, like Spot Goes to Hollywood. No matter what system it is, I can never get into it. But as you can see from the footage, it's very, very good graphically. That's what I would say. It looks like Sega Mega Drive rather than like a Master System port. It's really, really good graphically. It plays really nice on the Game Gear. It was more alluring on the eyes on the Game Gear, I thought, than other consoles. So maybe I will play it, but it's probably the game I'm least excited about out of the 5 games I've picked up. So yeah, I'm not too sure. But yeah, apologies if you are a big fan of the Cool Spot series. I'm just not really a massive fan. I remember selling my other Cool Spot game, I think, to feed me chicken previously a long time ago. Right, next one up is Tasmania. And again, I never can get on with Tasmania games. I love the cartoon. I've talked about it before. They just pissed me off. I don't know why. The last one I had a laugh with before I sold it was when we did a video, didn't I? The worst SNES game ever. And it's not that terrible, but it's basically like a racer. As you're racing as Taz, you've got to pick up birds to keep your energy going. I don't know how to describe the view. But yeah, anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about this Tasmania game. I've heard other Taz games like Taz in Space. I'm pretty sure I've had this one on the Mega Drive, and there's some sort of party games from Warner Brothers, etc. But yeah, I'm just not a biggest fan of Taz games. This was quite fun. It looked like a good... The music wasn't great, as you can probably hear. But yeah, it looked like a fairly decent sort of 8-bit Master System port. I'm assuming that's what it is. And you have to spin to get away from, to get through every enemy. But I didn't really know how you sort of recharge. From this footage clip, I can see you're supposed to stop and pick items up. So I will actually go back and play that. So even though I've been giving it the big one, saying I don't like Taz games, I did actually have a little bit of fun with that. So I'll definitely go back to that over Cool Spot. The last game, Crash Dummies. I'll show you some footage. It's not my footage. I've played all of these games. This one I couldn't get going. I have got a cleaner, so I'm going to give it a good clean. If not, I'm going to return it. So I'm going to clean the contacts on here and then see how it plays. I was worried. I had a Crash Dummies game on the... We all loved Crash Dummies as a kid, but I don't remember any games. But I had one on the Switch. It's dirt cheap. And it really just isn't... It was rubbish. I got rid of it. It's like an under £10 title. And yeah, I got rid of the game and I was like, oh, please don't be like this. But from the footage, it looks different. And this... Out of all these games, these are all like $2 a piece, £2.50 or £3. Do you know what I mean? None of them are £4. But this game was like £8. It's not something you see everywhere. So if I can't get working, I will definitely be returning it. But yeah, those are the games, guys. The Game Gear collection is getting good now. 12, 13, 14, 15... 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 games. So that only holds 12 cartridges. So I need to order another one of those off Etsy. So I will do that. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Let me know if there's any healthy Game Gear stock in your town. And hopefully I'll be coming down there soon. Bye-bye. I'm Mario. And I am the Hedgehog. And today, with this...